picked a good time of day. The light makes me look my skin.
We're on. You do look good, girl. All right.
Oh, we're on? Oh,
We're on.
I was like, man, the lighting in here is good. Look at my skin.
It is good. You're like glowing.
Glowing.
Like the angel you are. All right. So we are live on Realtor Fight Club. And what we were thinking was that once a week we would hang out with an awesome agent that's doing great thing. Awesome. An amazing agent to help share some of the tips because we don't always get to cover everything on the podcast. So Amber Allred in Cincinnati, Ohio with Keller Williams is here with us today. Hey, Amber.
Well, hey, Jen. Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad you're on. So Amber is, I would say, Amber's one of those people. What is that guy, the famous guy, the 7, where you can like connect him within 7 people?
Oh, Kevin Bacon?
Yes. So Amber Allred is the Kevin Bacon of Cincinnati, Ohio. But I think it's more like 5 people, within 5 people.
I would actually venture to say it's more like 2.
Oh, girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I always feel like I'm connected to somebody somehow. Growing up in the city, going to a public school in the middle of the city, you get connected with a lot of people. And being a loudmouth too, that helps.
That helps, yeah. But you're actually, I mean, networking is a skill. And so like one of the things that you do to grow your business is networking groups. So can you just share with us a little bit about your experience with the groups and your journey and how you, because I've tried those before, but networking is not like a skill that I possess. So like what makes you good at it? And then how do you do it?
Well, I think going into it, you do have to realize that it is a relationship business, just like the other parts of your business.
All right, Monica.
Right. I know sometimes on that podcast, I am Team Monica.
Oh, man. That's okay. It's okay.
So you have to look at it as if you are building it like your relationship part of your business. It's not just you're going in there and automatically expecting to get business out of it just because you hold that particular seat, just because the HVAC guy holds that particular seat or the roofer holds that particular seat. That doesn't automatically mean you're going to give them business. You've got to build that trust and that relationship with people in there. So you trust them and you feel comfortable referring them, and then therefore they're feeling comfortable referring you.
So how do you build trust? What do you mean? I mean, instinctually, I know what you mean by like treating them like your, sphere of influence, but like give us a few details.
Well, I mean, I think some of it is instinctual, like you're saying.
It's like natural for you. A lot of it, yeah.
I think the number one is you do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it.
Team Bertlin.
Of course. And I expect that from the people I'm working with too. If my clients are expecting it from me and I'm doing that, then I'm going to expect it from other people and they're going to expect it from me, vice versa. So I think that's the biggest thing is you're going to do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it.
But you have a process also for communicating with, anybody in your sphere, and you're saying just put them in there like they're your regular sphere. So like, can you give us a few details on your process? Like I know that you do, you do a lot of lottery tickets.
I love lottery tickets. I think that started when I was a kid. My mom always used to give scratch off lottery tickets. We get them in stockings at Christmas, and we'd, get them in birthday cards. And it was just always so fun.
That's so fun.
Especially as a kid, like you're not really supposed to gamble, but yet you get to gamble. I don't know. It was just such a fun time. If you won $2, you just felt like a millionaire. Right. So that's something that, yes, that's what I do. One of the things that I try to do is remember occasions for people. So sending birthday cards, or maybe they're pregnant or they just had a baby, or it's, now it's been a year since they've lived in their house and we're celebrating the house anniversary, things like that. I try to make sure that I pay attention to those sort of occasions and dates and make them feel special. I mean, I like to feel special. I think we all like to be remembered on our birthday or on special occasions. And it's really cool when someone does that for you. So
are you using like a system? Yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's like what me and Monica talk about on the podcast all the time. It's like, it starts off being like whatever you do naturally, and then you implement a system. So like what you're saying is like, well, I naturally love like scratch offs and lottery tickets, and you don't really care if they don't like it, but like most people do, right?
I mean, it is kind of fun to get it, right?
Yeah, it is. I like them.
Yeah.
But so you're giving that, but then you're also saying, okay, look, I do it on their birthday, their house anniversary, like on special occasions. And then are you using a system or are you handwriting?
No, actually, I handwrite them.
Nice.
Yeah, and I go to the dollar store and I buy them in bulk, and they're 50 cents a piece. And I can pick out all kinds of fun ones that I like. And
Nice.
then go to the market and buy a bunch of lottery tickets in bulk, and then I just keep them. And I keep my system that I have for this is that I keep a Google Calendar,
Okay.
and usually the first of the month I go through and make sure I'm all updated, and I have notes in mine that I send out cards, and when someone has a closing, then I go in and I put the date of their closing and the year.
Okay.
And I
Nice.
repeat it as every year, that's their house anniversary. And
Okay.
then usually a month after too, and then a week, because I always like to call them within the first week that they're moved in to make sure everything is okay.
Now let's say you have this networking group, you're meeting with the group and it's usually the same people like once a week or something like that, or once a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How, and they haven't had a transaction with you. How do you move them into like from somebody you know into a client?
Well, so I do try to schedule times where we can have like coffee or,
Nice.
well, nowadays it's Zoom calls, right?
Right.
So you're doing a lot of Zoom calls, and trying to seek out those people that I don't know that well. Because sometimes it's not a matter of they're not referring to me. It's because we just really don't know each other that well. We don't know how to refer to one another. So you set up like
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That could really be used for like anybody. I mean, I think,
Sure.
yeah. So like if you make a new friend on Facebook, I mean, we talked about this, like getting new friends. It's like, okay, if you have a friend of a friend that's commenting and you don't know that friend, you can friend them and then be like, hey, we don't know each other, but we have Amber in common. Let's be friends. You want to jump on a little Zoom call and get to know them?
Yeah, you could certainly do that for sure.
Maybe creepy. No, it's not creepy.
I guess it would depend on how you know each other, right?
Of course.
I get tons and tons of friend requests from people I don't know all the time, and most of the time it's like some of them are not legit. You guys all get those.
Yeah, we all get that. But I'm saying like obviously like it's a local, clearly
right.
Like you guys know each other. Okay, so you set up time to like really connect with them and learn about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest thing is doing that. And each week when you have an opportunity to speak, it helps if you do something that's a little memorable too. And I'm not going to say that every week I'm memorable, right? I mean, some weeks are better than others,
Sure.
But there are some weeks that I try to either make it funny or, I have something interesting to say that I think other people will find interesting. So to catch people's attention in your little like elevator pitch or whatever.
Right.
Like, here's what I'm looking for this week, who you got.
And it's like specific too.
Yeah. If you can be more specific, obviously that's very helpful. Although
can you talk a little bit about why that's helpful to be specific? Because it seems like to some people that might be too narrow.
Well, I think because when you're very general, it doesn't stick in people's brains, right? So if you say like, look, I'm looking for a seller who's going to sell their home. They live in this neighborhood in Mason because I've got a buyer who's looking for that, or whatever the case is, then people are going to go, oh yeah, actually I do know somebody who lives in that neighborhood, or you're looking for a specific builder, maybe like I really want to connect with somebody from Fisher Homes because I want to get into that new build and I want Fisher Homes in this area. Then people, they'll connect it more. It seems more personalized. Whereas if you just say, and I'm guilty of this, I say, we just need sellers. Well, yeah, of course. I really should expand on that a little bit more.
Right.
Because
sellers in Deer Park.
Yeah, sellers in Deer Park. Right.
Redwood. Yeah. But I think you're right too, because think about like, when you first get your car, like you never really notice the car until now you have the car and it's like in your mind and now you see the car everywhere. I wonder if it's like, it seems like it would be around the same concept. It's like, if you say we need sellers, it's like, okay, you don't notice, but then you're like, we need a seller in Ravenwood neighborhood.
Yeah, Cape Cod or whatever. Yeah, then it becomes a little more personalized. There's a term for that. When you buy a car, you don't notice your car until you
What is it?
Oh, I can't remember. Somebody maybe on Facebook knows the term. But there is an actual term for that. I don't
That's
know.
awesome.
Sorry.
Okay.
I
I
should
don't
have
know.
even mentioned it.
Well, let me ask you about, okay, so the skill of finding you're only like two people connected to the person that you know. Is that only in Cincinnati or is that
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah.
would be
although
cool?
although I have gone to when I lived in Maryland, right outside Washington, D.C. for a couple of years. And there was one time we went up to Baltimore to go to the aquarium for the day.
Hmm.
And at the aquarium, you have to buy this was then, I don't know how it is now, but you used to have to buy tickets for a certain time of entrance. And
Hmm.
so when we got there, we bought tickets for about an hour or two later, and we decided to have lunch in this adjacent neighborhood. And when I was sitting there was a girl that walked out that went, Amber, is that
Oh my God, of
and I had
course.
graduated high school with her, and she happened to be at that same restaurant in Baltimore, Maryland at the same time
That's
I
insane.
was.
So maybe it could work. I think we should try it.
Okay, we'll try it.
Okay, so what I'm taking away from this is if you're going to be in a networking group, what do you think though is like the length of time for getting business from this group? Because it's not, like you said, it's not like a one and done type thing, but like
Right.
what is it if you're like consistently meeting? How long
I
do you
mean,
think?
I think within the first 6 months, you should have something, you should
Okay.
at least have something going in there. I mean, if you're in there and it's been a year and you're really not getting anything out of it, then you've got to look. And I'm not going to say it's the people in there. You got to look at what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, you may not be meeting consistently. You may not be specific in your ask.
But
You may
that's good advice for any, like anything that you're trying to
Sure.
use to lead generate. It's like, if you're not getting the results, what are you doing? That's great
Yeah, I mean,
advice.
I guess it depends on how well you connect with people and how intentional you are. I mean, you have to
Mhm.
be intentional the same way you are about any other part of your business. If
Right.
cold calling is your thing, which I know it is,
Hey.
then you have to be intentional about
Right.
every morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to start on the phone at this time and I'm
Mhm.
going to end at this time and I'm going to make this many calls. You have an intention with it. And that's
Yeah.
the same, I think, in even in the networking groups. You have an intention. You have an intention to be there, be committed, be present,
Hmm.
be honest, do what you
Yeah,
say you're
showing
gonna
up
do.
is like half the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And being
Okay.
interested in other people and also giving too. I mean, you're not just going in there expecting to have all this business to you. You're there
Right.
because you're trying to network with other professionals in different walks of life and businesses that you feel comfortable referring to them too.
But I
You
think though, like one deal is not necessarily equate, depending on how much time it takes. Like if you're saying it's like an hour a month or something like that, plus like prep time, how do you know if it's worth it or not?
I mean, I think you probably would keep a system just like you would in your other parts of your business. How do you
Hmm.
track other things in your business?
Hmm. Hmm.
You're tracking hours, you're tracking contacts, you're
Hmm.
tracking how much money, or maybe it's the commission you're tracking out of
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
versus how much time and how much money you're putting into it. Time, prep work,
Right.
money, whatever you're putting into the business, how much are you getting out of it? I mean, there's all kinds of tangible ways and qualitative ways that you can track
Oh, big word.
your business.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. He's so smart.
I guess
That's true.
it wouldn't be qualitative, it would be quantitative.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quantitative.
you're right. You're right.
So let's call me out on my 50-cent word there.
That's good. Okay. So when you are deciding that you want to do networking and you're going to join a group that's like consistently meeting for networking, it sounds like first you figure out what is it that you want to get out of it based on the time that you're going to be putting into it. What is that? What are you looking for? What are you going to track? Is what I heard you say. Then track it. Then make sure you're showing up every day and participating in it fully, connecting with people. You said getting curious about people, um, and just putting them into like your already like kind of sphere of influence, like how you already do business. It's not any different.
Right.
Okay.
No, it's not. I think people think that it will be, but it's not
Right.
any different. I'm
It's
still going to
not.
put them in my database and I'm still going to send them birthday cards. I'm still going to connect with
Right.
them the way that I do other people in my
Yeah.
business, and even in my personal life.
That makes sense. Cool. Well, I really appreciate you being on, Amber. If anybody has a referral for you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Oh, well, I'm on social media, of course. It's probably the best way to find me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me at Amber Meacham Allred or Amber Sells Cincy. Or so on Instagram is Amber Sells Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can call me 513-814-4044.
Always a pleasure, Amber.
Oh, you as well, Jennifer.
Have a good day.
You too.
See ya.